Hello, all. It's been very hot and not able to do a lot of things around here because of the heat. And we've had a couple nice days, and I've been very busy with some other projects, work related. So I haven't been able to make much videos, but I wanted to make a video today about what I consider to be one of the biggest misunderstandings about martial arts, and that is the difference between sports related martial arts activities, okay, and self protection related combat activities, okay? And the ignorance is spread all over the place in the martial arts community regarding this, okay? And I'm going to point out a few things initially as to why this is. First of all, a lot of people just don't know what they're talking about, and they spread crap. It's that simple, okay? Then you get people who are intelligent and able to be somewhat manipulative and understand certain aspects, but are really deluded. I'm going to just go out and say somebody like Ramsey Dewey is a good example of that. And again, it's nothing personal. It's just simply these people that speak about martial arts as though, having trained in one particular avenue, they understand all aspects of all martial arts and what people can and cannot do. It's uncalled for and ridiculous. Anyway, then you have people who are extremely insightful and should be listened to. And I'm going to go on record here as saying Michael Jai White, okay? He's brilliant, okay? Listen to the man, all right? He's smart. He speaks properly about these issues, okay? There are many others. Uma Brick in Newark. I'll get more information about him, but it's Carmen is his name. You see his videos, Brick City. He has very good insights, and should be listened to. Okay? All right, with that said, let's talk about this. First of all, I want to give you two hypothetical situations, okay? You have regular land and bizarro land. In regular land, you get two guys who are fixing their porch, and they're tool junkies, okay? So one guy says, you see this drill? This thing can drill 500 RPMs per minute, yada, yada, yada. And the other guy says, nah, man, I don't even use that brand of tools. This is an old Milwaukee special. And, they're both holding up a drill, right? So when you compare those two drills, it would seem to make sense and all that good stuff. Meanwhile, in bizarro land, somebody has a screw that they're screwing in. One guy has a screwdriver, the other guy has a hammer. And the guy with the hammer says, this hammer is so good. I'm going to take care of that screw for you, this hammer. It doesn't quite work out, does it? Now, you could have the jankiest damn screwdriver this side of Timbuktu. It's going to screw a screw in better than a hammer. Can we all agree on that? Okay? When you compare martial arts activities, okay, your comparables have to be consistent, okay? They have to have the same general categories in order to be compared properly, all right? When you get into a ring and you fight, that is in and of itself a skill. And the confusion is because when you study martial arts, there is a period of time when you should engage in that activity. It's part of learning martial arts. At that point, you can continue in that avenue. You can become a fighter. Okay? But if you get a guy who just fights in the ring, okay, and that's what he does, he can put one hand behind his back, tie a leg behind his back. He's going to be able to do that because he has experience doing that, okay? And you should be able to have certain benchmarks that you meet with your training, okay? I like to think of it like, if I can still attack somebody who is a ring fighter, okay, competently, okay. You may think about if you can defend yourself around, or that's up. Everybody has their own. I'm not going to try to defend myself against somebody in the ring. Okay, I'm not a ring fighter. I have fought in the ring, fought for years because that was part of my training. It's not what I do. Okay, and no matter how good a martial artist I am, if I wanted to fight in the ring, I'd be 10 times better ring fighter if I just fought in the ring and didn't train in martial arts per se. All right, so when you look at sports related activities in the martial arts, they are a part of martial arts. Okay, they are a part of martial arts training. Okay, they are something you can pursue to its own end, but they are not the whole and entirety of martial arts. Nor is this idea that struggling against a resisting opponent compromises the end all and be all of a strategy and a technique. Okay? It's a benchmark, and it's a good benchmark. However, levels to the game. Okay? As we will see, there are seldom any absolutes included when we're talking about this topic. Okay? So, the other, if we could just kind of characterize this first misunderstanding, it would be that being part of the martial arts and learning does not mean it's a be all and end all of martial arts to be a fighter. And I'm not going to go into this whole thing. What about the spiritual aspects? What about the physical fitness aspects? I'm not trying to piss on your leg and tell you that it's raining. Okay? That's not what I'm going to go into. All right? So, spiritual training is wonderful. And again, martial arts through self discipline is great for that and for certain health aspects. No question about it. I've used martial arts to cure my body and hold my body together now for 40 plus years. Okay? I've been training for 50 years, but, when I started to get older and banged up. So I'll be the first to tell you that, yes, if it wasn't for martial arts, I would probably be crippled at least 2 times now. Okay? So, but even as my own testimonial and many other testimonials would tell you, and I've lived in a Buddhist monastery for a while as well, I'm very familiar and have a lot of love and respect and practice a lot of, those aspects. But don't get caught into that. That's a trap, okay? That's not to negate the physical aspects of self-preservation and other aspects. It's not there for that, okay? It's not for somebody to say, well, I don't do it for that reason, I do it for this reason, okay? Don't. Martial arts, very simple. They're how to fight, okay? And you can't simply say that you've totally juxtapositioned them into something else. Otherwise, it's not really a martial art, okay? Now, you can have things that are esoteric in the martial arts that contribute to skills on certain levels, like Tai Chi, even Qigong, okay? But it's not the same as just trying to make the claim, the argument that because I do this for health reasons, I call it a martial art, it is a martial art, okay? And I do that because I can't fight with it, all right? If you can't fight with your martial arts, then you have a lack of some sort, or you simply have your own thing that you're doing for your own purposes, and God bless it, but it's not the same for what most people consider martial arts, okay? Having said that, let's talk about another major. So we characterize this first, and we'll stop this video on this first point, okay? We now have some understanding about this distinction and some of the ways that it's made. We'll go to our second part of this now.